Hello, and welcome back to our first live show in a little bit. It's great to see you in person again, Jillian.
It's great to see you too, Olivia. We have a great show planned for you folks today.
First, welcome back to Yay Sports. Last Friday, the varsity basketball teams headed to Profile. The boys lost 57-43, and the girls won 27-24. On Wednesday, the boys team hosted Woodsville and lost 76-41. Last night, the ski team had the annual David Dovelock Memorial Kink Classic race. This year, due to the limit of people allowed at the Kink, the race was split into two races, one in the afternoon and one in the evening. In the afternoon race, the girls' ski team placed first, with Sydney Pickering coming in first, and the team came in second in the evening. The boys' ski team placed first in both races, with Jacob Morris coming in first in the afternoon race and Charles Laux winning the evening race. And in the afternoon race, the entire boys' team placed in the top 7. Tonight, the middle school boys' basketball team will be hosting Lisbon at home at 4. The varsity basketball teams will be traveling to Lisbon. The girls will be playing at 4 and the boys will be playing at 5. Tomorrow, the JV boys basketball team will head to Profile for a game at 11 a.m. On Monday, the varsity and JV boys teams will be playing at Groveton. The JV game will be at 5 and the varsity game will be at 6:30. On Thursday, the boys team will travel to Gorham. The JV team will play at 5 and the varsity team will play at 6:30. And the girls will be hosting Gorham at home at 5.
Thanks for that update, Olivia. What an epic week for Lin-Wood sports fans and players. Now, your favorite News Week anchor with Shanna Drapo.
Welcome back to What Went Down in the World This Week. I'm Shanna Drapo, coming to you with recent news from around the world. January 26th is known in Australia as Australia Day, a holiday meant to celebrate the arrival of the British in 1788 on this date, and the birth of the country. The day is usually celebrated with parades, concerts, carnivals, and more. However, for the Indigenous people of Australia, this day is known as the start of settler colonialism. This involves violence towards the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, as well as depriving them of their native land and property. The natives were treated with discrimination, racism, and their sacred sites were destroyed. This year, along with the regular celebrations, there were many protests by Australian people. Although these people would love to celebrate their beautiful country, many of them wished to change the date of this holiday or abolish it altogether. The people should be able to have a holiday where all of them can celebrate their history, rather than only the people who are not natives to the land. Now I have some COVID news for you. The COVID-19 vaccine process in New Hampshire is now moved on to Phase 1B. Nearly 200,000 people in New Hampshire have signed up to be vaccinated, and the first shots were administered on Tuesday, January 26th. Hopefully, the phases will move along quickly and we will all be vaccinated soon. President Joe Biden has been very busy since his inauguration on January 20th. He has signed many more executive actions, working to improve our country. One of the most significant actions he has initiated was reversing the transgender military ban. He also has been open about working to improve our country's economy by encouraging the sales and production of American products within our own country. The articles of impeachment against Donald Trump have now been brought to the Senate. The Senate is expected to begin voting around the week of February 8th. Many Republicans are fighting against the idea of impeachment, and it is impossible to tell at this time what the outcome of the situation will be. Now for our weekly good news. IKEA has worked hard recently to protect the environment and become a carbon-neutral company. A recent move of theirs was the purchase of 11,000 acres of forest in Georgia to prevent it from being lost to development. The land is now owned by a branch of IKEA, Inca Group, which has worked with the nonprofit Conservation Fund to protect millions of forest acres in the United States. The purchase of this specific piece of land will protect the gopher tortoise, a priority species for conservation. The Inca Group currently owns 616,000 acres in the United States and Europe, which are now protected from development, and they aren't stopping now. And that's what went down in the world this week. Have a great day and stay safe.
Man, I just love that good news. Now, on to another wonderful wacky word with Jillian Clark. Hello, and welcome back to Wacky Words. Today, we're going to be discussing the term master bedroom. If you or your parents love to watch HGTV, I'm sure you are no stranger to the term master bedroom, which refers to the largest bedroom in the house. However, in recent years, this term has been a target in the media due to its potential discriminatory connotations. The word master comes from the Latin word which means dictator. The combined term master bedroom rose in popularity in the early 20th century. This wording was used to describe the bedroom that belonged to the master of a house, a position that was always held by a man. This leaves some to consider the word to be sexist, because if the roles were reversed and the room was instead called the mistress bedroom, a negative connotation could be applied. When combined with the fact that when the word was rising in popularity, the term master was often used to describe a slave master, it is understandable why historians and politicians alike are petitioning for the word's removal. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to think of this word, or to tell you to remove it from your vocabulary entirely. I'm just sharing the interesting history of this commonly used word. I'm Jillian Clark, and this has been Wacky Words. Have a great week. That was very informative. We will now take a quick break, but don't run off yet. So much more of the content you love coming up next, right here on the Kanc Connection.
You could be spreading the coronavirus without realizing you have it, so do your part and stay home. It's important to limit in-person interaction with anyone outside of your immediate household, but phone and video chat are safe ways to connect. It's also important to limit social gatherings. If you need essential items like food and medicine, try using a delivery service. If you must leave your house for essential items, or if you want to take a walk for exercise, make sure to wear a cloth face covering. Stay at least 6 feet away from other people. Try not to touch frequently touched surfaces like light signals, street signs, or benches. And wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds as often as possible. This advice applies to people of any age, including teens and younger adults. It takes all of us to slow the spread of the coronavirus, so stay home unless absolutely necessary. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
Welcome back, everyone. Today, Emma is back at it with another thrilling myth.
But you might be wondering where that term came from. Pandora first appeared in Hesiod's Theogony, and the story starts in the Greek Golden Age, when humans were still immortal. The earth was giving humans all the food they needed, humans lived in peace. Well, that is, until this little mishap with Prometheus. Prometheus was a titan who had taken a large interest in the humans, enjoying helping them and trying to overall improve their lives. Eventually, our buddy Prometheus decided that he could do us all a big favor by tricking Zeus. Prometheus gave Zeus 2 offerings of meat, one of which looked amazing, but was made of gross fat and corn. But was stuffed with delicious choice meat. Zeus, of course, chose the which set the laws of humans to only need to sacrifice bones and fat to the gods. In retaliation, Zeus went down to the earth and took one of the humans' defining powers, fire. But this could just not stand, as fire is a bit of a necessity for human life. Without fire, the humans began to die out, of course. Prometheus tried to right his wrong by going up to Olympus and stealing back fire for all of humanity. Zeus, of course, saw the humans had fire again and knew exactly who to blame. Prometheus, of course. So Zeus, now a bit tired of Prometheus, chained into a rock where an eagle would come to daily peck out his liver. Because of immortality, Prometheus couldn't die from this and his liver would regrow overnight, leading to a horrific cycle. But now with that out of the way, we can finally talk about Pandora. Pandora was first created by Zeus, who had enlisted the help of all the gods to help make her, with Hephaestus sculpting her and Hermes giving her a brain, with similar additions from all the other gods. Zeus created a woman with two defining characteristics. Pretty, but not stupid. And along with this, Zeus gave her a box. She had a box, Pandora's box, which was filled with all the evil that Zeus could find, like a finite lifespan for humans, disease, country music, natural disasters. When she was shipped out to the world at large, Pandora promptly dumped the box of evil and spread it to the world. Although, one thing will always remain in this box, hope. Meaning that humanity will always have hope no matter what.
Ooh, I really like that one. Up next, the fan favorite, another Madov's Movie Minute.
Patrolling the mall, as I should. Oh, you're trying to rob the mall. Wait, what is my... Welcome back to another episode of Madov's Movie Minute. In this episode, we're reviewing Paul Blart Mall Cop. The beginning of the movie starts off with your normal mall. This guy, he's a mall cop, he's going around and he's training and police school, it was okay, we're starting over. He's running, he's exercising, but he's like a bigger guy than all the other guys. He's a little bit more bigger, proportionally wise. And he's in police camp. He's he's sweating a bunch. He's running. He's the best one. He's the real one that only cares about his job. And he's I really want to be on the real police force. But you know what happens? He's stuck with a mall cop job. And his team is better not let better not he needs sugar, because if he doesn't get enough sugar, he's he passes out, basically, what it is, for the most part. He's patrolling the mall, and he's oh, he sees a girl. So while he's patrolling it, he's got his eyes on the woman. He's oh. And then he crashes into a car. It was really a minivan, but it's right in the middle of the mall. You know how they have those parking lot display thingies? Anyways, they start to get closer and closer as friends or whatever. And when he goes home after work, everybody's oh, you're so lonely. His whole family is Dad, you said you were gonna get a girlfriend by now. And he's yeah. And they sign up for online dating. And he goes on a bunch of dates and he's no, me no likey. And, that's the day. Basically, while everybody's getting mugged and robbed in the mall, he's in an arcade playing games, trying to relieve stress and just have fun. And then when everybody's gone, he leaves, and he's okay, my game's done. He's whew, closed early. Turns out, he's oh no, we've been mugged, robbed. And he's okay, we gotta run from here, we gotta go. And he's oh no, wait, the girl I like has been captured. So right about he's about to leave, he's Skrr, and he turns back. Will he save the girl? Will he make it out alive? Will his police duty really hire him to be a real policeman? Watch the movie to find out. No.
Thanks, Madov. Our final round of the 13th annual school-wide Poetry Out Loud competition takes place Tuesday, at the end of the day. One winner and an alternate will be selected by a panel of judges to move on to regionals after vacation. A special segment will air next week when you can see our students' performances. Good luck to all of our contestants.
Senior Haley Salela introduces her new series talking about books and hobbies and whatever else strikes her creative fancy. Let's take a look.
For my book talk, I decided to read a murder mystery novel called Missing Pieces by Heather Goodenkoff. This is a really interesting and weird book. So let's begin with the two main characters. It's a husband and a wife. They currently live in Montana, but after the aunt of the husband falls down the stairs, they decide to go back to Iowa. So this aunt was someone that had taken in the husband because the mother had passed away. They found her in someone's basement. They never solved it. So after he, of course, had the chance to run away, he left and never came back. So after 20 years of marriage with his wife, they decide to come back. This is the first time the wife has ever met anyone in the family. Red flag number 1. So they get back and they start realizing that when this aunt fell down the stairs, it wasn't necessarily what it seemed. So the wife of the husband started digging and doing a little bit of her own research. And as time went on, she realized that the family isn't exactly what she thought it would be. And the more that she digs and that the more the investigation goes on this aunt that fell down the stairs, they start to realize that it wasn't an accident. And the more the cops investigate, the more the family gets tied into it. And then one person becomes a suspect, and then another family member becomes a suspect. And it's just a snowball that keeps on going. The end of the story is not something you would ever expect. Let me tell you, this book had me running in circles, but I think it was a really good read. I really, really, really enjoyed just taking my time with this book. Usually I plow through books in a day, but let me tell you, this was a pretty good murder mystery. It's a really good thriller. I think you guys should give it a read. It does not turn out how you expect. I really enjoyed reading it and trying to solve the murder myself as I was going on. Like, no, it was this person. No, it was definitely them. And then you get to the end, it's not at all what you would expect.
That was super cool, Haley. Thank you all once again for tuning into our